Guy came on the Locked On Astros podcast last night and said this was going to be a pitcher's duel. And it was not. It became a big slugfest. And luckily, the Astros came up on top. And Aledmys Diaz, he is your left fielder. He is the people's choice. And we'll discuss this and more on this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at EricTalkStros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can you find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter and Instagram, and at Stros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive. Positive Diaz better be in that lineup tomorrow. Always Stros.
Thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, keep on subscribing. It takes a second. Just go YouTube, search Locked On Astros, and just hit that little red button that says subscribe and give us a like while you're there. And go ahead and search for us on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Check out the Locked On Astros podcast. And today's episode is brought to you by Blue Nile. Make your moment sparkle with jewelry from BlueNile.com, and going now is the Blue Nile anniversary sale. Save up to 40% on classic fine jewelry pieces and 25% off on engagement ring settings. Shop stress-free and find your forever piece. Go to BlueNile.com today. I'm super excited about what happened in that game today. I mean, Brett, happy birthday, first of all.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm not going to say your age. I would not do that to you on air. But we were out. Actually, I was waiting for my son for him to get out of band. And so we went out to eat at a bar for a little bit. And we were watching the game. And we're like, okay, Martin Perez is throwing a no-hitter. The Astros are already down 3-0 at that point, or maybe 4-0, and then
it was 3-0, 4-0, and then I think you had to leave because
I had to go pick up my son.
Yeah, you had to go pick up your son, and then Altuve had broken up the no hitter. I think you broke up the no hitter before you left, right?
Yeah,
and then he walked the next two batters. Now, when Bregman got up, I honestly thought Bregman was going to take it to the Crawford boxes, make it a 4-3 game. But Aledmys Diaz, no, Albert, I'm not 55. Thank you. I'm 47. I will out myself as 47. Wow. I appreciate it. But here's the deal. The bottom line is this. Aledmys Diaz continues to make a case of why he is a key component to this team. And I've told y'all this before. Aledmys Diaz will have a key clutch moment in the playoffs in 2022. He may actually be an MVP of one of these series, ALCS or World Series. He's that powerful of a bat. The question is, does a hot-hitting Diaz get a start tomorrow, or does Dusty go, you know what, you hit a grand slam, you need to rest, kid?
All right, my burner account is blasting your age. It's a little bit off, but it's pretty close there. So
47, no. Yeah, Dorothy. Yeah, Dorothy thought I was 48. Thank you. I appreciate you adding another year to my life. I'm 47, but I'm telling you right now, doing this podcast, I feel like 47 is the new 26, right? So let's go.
Yeah. So Aledmys Diaz got the Astros back into it, and then you had Adolis Garcia. It just seems like he is the next Albert Pujols, Jim Edmonds, whoever you want to say. He's the guy that's going to kill the Houston Astros. Like, he always does good against the Astros, and he hit that home run off of Urquidy to make it 5-4 at that point. And then the Astros were able to come back and score another 2 runs to make it 7-5 at that point. And then the Astros were able to hold on to the lead. There's a little bit of a scare in the ninth inning because even though the sign in the Crawford boxes says, please do not lean over and touch any ball that's in play. Do not lean over the yellow line or whatever it says. And the guy in outfield did lean over. Luckily, the umpire did call that a double. If he would have called that a home run, then it would have stuck as a home run. But luckily, he called it as a double. So even though the fan did interfere, it did stay as a double.
Yeah, I mean, you can thank the fan, but I guarantee he got kicked out. Whenever you do that, you get kicked out. Now, I was reminded back in 2018, the horrible call, the missed home run call by Joe West. And one of my good friends, one of my roommates, Tim, we've been talking back and forth to this game. He's a big Rangers fan up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And he was like, man, that was a home run. That ball was gone. I said, yeah, but the fan interfered. So I sent him the 2018 tape, and I said, watch how Mookie Betts' glove closes before the fan even makes contact with him or the ball. Mookie Betts' arm goes into the stands, and Joe West and them call it a home run. And the commentators, if you listen to the commentators, they're like, that fan forced his glove closed. The fan's hand hadn't even touched his glove. And we all know with the Red Sox being up 2-1 in that series, had the Astros won that game 2-2 and tied it up, it could have swung that whole series, and the Astros could have very well been in the World Series that year. So it stinks for the fan. I don't think that fan maliciously, stuck their arms over. That is an excitement kind of moment. That's why I've always thought, like, I want to sit in the front row of the Crawford boxes, but I'm also a little afraid to, because I don't want to be that guy.
If you sit there, I'll sit next to you, and if you lean over, I'll be like, I'll knock you out, so you don't get the chance to do that. And Samuel asked what instrument my son plays. He plays the bari sax, and so just imagine a 6'6" freshman playing the bari sax. And so, he should be playing football or basketball.
Basketball.
But he's in a band. But that's my son. I love him deaf. So anyway, so getting back to today's game, I know there's still some kind of offers. I know a lot of people are going to say, well, why didn't you start Chas McCormick? Chas McCormick does really good against left-handed hitters. And instead pitchers, yeah. Instead, you go ahead and start Jake Meyers. Jake Meyers has been in a slump. He definitely does not do good against left-handers. I know we've heard this all game. I know Jake Meyers did score a run, but McCormick did play as a defensive replacement for Aledmys Diaz later in the game. But just keep in mind that I think that they don't really prefer McCormick in center field. I mean, I think they rather have him in left field. I mean, he'll play in center field, but I think they prefer somebody else in center field. So I don't know.
I mean, his OPS is 200 points higher against
defensive
left-handed
wise.
pitchers.
So, yeah.
I'm just saying, though.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about his offense. His offense is why you put him in there in the game. He deserves so there's this debate and this argument going on right now, right? In our little Twitter verse, right? Is that like, is McCormick not performing because he doesn't have, is Myers not performing because he doesn't have consistent starts every day? Or is that also what's going on with McCormick? I'm telling you right now, I and not anybody I talk to is convinced that Myers is 100% healthy. He plays timid. He doesn't look comfortable at the plate. McCormick goes up and he looks like he's ready to hit the ball every time. This is what's interesting too, is even though McCormick's average is 100 points lower against left-handers, he has twice as many home runs versus hold on. His average is higher versus left-handers, and it's lower versus right-handers. Against right-handers, he has twice as many home runs as he does versus left-handers. So it's kind of a weird thing. High average, low home runs, low average, high home runs. Maybe that's the matchup they're playing. But we know for a fact that Dusty's making these lineups. We know it's not Joe Espada.
He confirmed that today.
In there. Yeah, Yuli Gurriel being in there instead of Trey Mancini. Now, Yuli did make a key scoop in the 9th inning, as mentioned by our fans, and that could have saved some runs. And it's just, I don't know. Why did you get Trey Mancini? To ride the pine? You got him to play games. Get Trey Mancini in the games. If you want to tinker with him in left field, I don't care. But Trey Mancini is here, and he's not playing. He needs to be playing just about every game. You know what you have in Yuli, okay? Let him DH. Put Alvarez out in left field. Put Mancini at put Mancini at first. Let Altuve rest. Put Diaz at second. Heck, put Diaz in center field. I don't care. I need Diaz on the field. I need Mancini on the field. I need McCormick on the field. And I'm sorry, the other guys, they got to take their turn. And you know what? Since we're talking about this and we're getting worked up, I want to talk to you about something. I want to talk about your liver health. Did you know that the key to sustainable weight loss is through your liver? That's right. The liver is the body's metabolic furnace. And constant exposure to thousands of man-made and environmental toxins and unhealthy processed foods has your liver working overtime. But thanks to Liver Health Formula by Pure Health Research, Liver Health Formula contains 8 liver-boosting super nutrients like turmeric, beet, and artichoke extract. That's right. Additional weight loss talking points are if you're struggling or your belly is bloating, then you need to get this. If you go now to Liver Health Formula, risk-free today, and try it out, you get a free bottle of Curb Fit with your order. Curb Fit is a safe and all-natural appetite suppressant, making it easy to say no to bad foods. This makes a perfect complement to the Liver Health Formula. Go to getliverhelp.com/MLB to learn more. Again, that's getliverhelp.com/MLB to try Liver Health Formula completely risk-free and claim your free Curve Fit bottle today.
Alrighty. Do you need a place to watch your Astros play baseball and have a good brew or two? How about Hooters?
Okay, you throwing this to me too? Oh, golly, man. Oh, you're killing me tonight. All right, Hooters of NASA is the great place to go watch baseball with your buds, to get some brews, to get any kind of sauce you want. Dry rubs, man, you owe me big time. NASA Hooters is a great place. They take trips to Astros games. You need to go ask Rosie what that is all about. Their famous wings, the famous Hooters girls, superb service. We were just there this last weekend. We had listeners out there. We had a full restaurant, gave away tickets. We had a blast. So for their legendary Ritas, for their Happy Owl specials, Monday through Friday, 3 to 6, go check them out. And on Thursdays, they have Thursdays with drink specials. So this is where they're located, I-45 South, exit 528, for great wings and the best service from the world famous Hooters girls. They're conveniently located in the NASA Value Shopping Center, south of the Baybrook Mall in Webster, Texas, at 20796 Gulf Freeway. Go to Hooters NASA today.
All right. So Jose Urquidy, he broke his streak of 9 straight quality starts, and unfortunately, like you and I were discussing on the Spaces earlier today, somebody can't be that dominant for that long. But in that situation, he still kept the team in the game as much as he could. He only gave up 5 hits, 5 runs. He gave up 3 home runs. 2 of them were to, I believe, Seaman and Simeon, sorry, and then Corey Seager. I'm having a little trouble.
That's okay. You got this, or you need me to take it over? Okay.
I got it.
Okay.
The combination of the last 2 ads were just anyway. So, but overall, the home run ball kind of killed Urquidy today. So the quality starts is broken a little bit, but I know in the Spaces it was brought up. Well, Vasquez maybe doesn't know how to call Jose Urquidy, and maybe he's not a great catcher. Maldonado's the better catcher. And it's funny how the turntables have turned. So it's just funny just how everybody's like big Maldonado's fans. But I think that just remember last game that Vasquez actually caught Urquidy's almost perfect game. He had 10 strikeouts in that game. He pitched 6 or 7 shutout innings. So a pitcher is just going to have a bad game every once in a while.
Well, he had a bad game, but he still got the win. I mean, he pitched 5 innings. He still got the win. He's still 11-4. I mean, things are going to happen. You're going to put the ball in the wrong location. It could be Vasquez is calling a great game. It's just Urquidy wasn't locating his pitches. That's the problem with a strike thrower like Urquidy. And I even discussed that with Joe Thon, the manager of the Fayetteville Woodpeckers. And he said that he is a great asset to have, but a guy like that has to be on and has to be dialed in. Greg Maddux was a strike thrower. He threw very slow. but he painted the corners, and that's what made him so effective. When Urquidy is on, see, when the lights are brighter, I think Urquidy is almost untouchable.
Right.
He is phenomenal, and I don't think there should be any question that this guy's going to be a part of the rotation. But Eric, what I did like is I like after that when he left, Will Smith, Rafael Montero, Hector Neris, and Ryan Presley all came in, didn't give up any runs, only 2 hits among all those relievers, and 6 strikeouts total. That is what you call one of the best relief pitching cores in all of baseball. That is what you call picking your pitcher up. He gives up 3 home runs, he gives up 4 runs, and you still find a way to win the game. And at the end of the day, of course, they scored 5. I'm sorry, he gives up 5 runs. At the end of the day, the Astros came back. They needed a win like this. They had not been competitive the last 2 games versus the Indians. They had the day off. They recharged their batteries, and they looked great. This was the game, Eric, that I said they were probably going to lose in the series because of Martin Perez.
Yeah, and I thought so too. I thought this, like I said yesterday, I thought this was going to be more of a 1-0 game, a close game, a pitcher's duel. But that's why baseball is baseball. You can never predict. Remember all those stats I read yesterday? How Perez is so good on the road, so good against the Astros. How Urquidy's so good at home, how he's so good against the Rangers, and it's just baseball is baseball, and it's just weird how the game is. But the Astros were able to do what they've done 9 times this year. They've beat the Rangers. They've only lost to Rangers 3 times, and they're 1 win away from securing the silver boot. If we really care about that, but
Yeah, everybody in Arlington's clamoring if we could just have the boot back. It's kind of, yeah, like literally. I know they mentioned it. Astros.com mentioned on Twitter, like you said, but I don't know. I think these series. I think when you have a trophy involved, I mean, let's just be honest. It's really hokey. Like I get it if you're fighting for like an axe, or if you're fighting for some kind of cup between 2 storied college rivals. But this is the Rangers and the Astros. I mean, they have almost an identical record. I'm not trying to rain on the Silver Boots parade, but literally, I don't know a single player in those clubhouses that goes, man, if the Silver Boot was in our grasp and we lost it. Like, that's not anybody's conversation. I get it. It's a Silver Boot. I'm sure you got a bobblehead somewhere. It's what you're looking for. But
I can find
yeah,
it.
okay. You know what?
I'll
We
probably
beat the
break it
Rangers.
anyway.
We're in first place. That's why we try not to complain so much on this podcast, because there are so many good things about this team. And that's what we have to realize is there's more good than bad. And we have to keep charging. We have to hope that the Yankees will somehow trip up. But Eric, I'll be real honest. I don't know that it's that important whether we get the first seed or the second seed. I really don't, because we played New York well in both places, both home and away. We beat them both home and away. And I think at the end of the day, this year, this pitching staff, we are way better than the Yankees. And how are they still number 1 in the power rankings? How?
Because they're the Yankees. Everybody loves the Yankees because they're
They're
up there north.
terrible. No, they're terrible.
They got
They're
that
not
Aaron
playing.
Judge fella.
No, that I don't care. Okay, so one player. I mean, whatever. I just, you know what? I've just started ignoring power rankings because they're comical at best. They are terrible. It's kind of like Keith Law and his judging players. Not a good combo.
Yeah. So I know everybody's kind of worried about Alvarez, and in the last 7 days, he's batting 190 with a OPS of 530 with 2 RBIs. He has struck out 5 times. He has 3 walks. In the last 15 days, he's batting 261 with 863 OPS with 2 home runs. In the last 30 days, he's batting 273 with a 980 OPS with 4 home runs and 13 RBIs. So he's not the exact same player he was in the first couple of months where he was, or first 3 or 4 months where he was on fire. But I don't think there's anything wrong with him. I think he's maybe just he's just going through a little rut. And like a lot of the players, Kyle Tucker had a good hit today. I think it was a double, but he's looking like he's maybe coming out of it, but I'd rather these guys struggle now than later in the season when it comes to clutch time and in the postseason. So
Well, I
I'm
mean,
not too worried about that.
yeah, I mean, Alvarez is still hitting 297 with a 1.033 OPS. He's going to be fine. Tucker, I mean, he's hitting 242. Is he going to hit over 250 this year? And I mean, he's got to be the most unlucky player. And I just got to say this: these like expected numbers, like xWOBA and expected batting average, like, can we just put that stuff to rest? Because okay, you're expected to do something. My question is, did you do it? Did you win? Like, we're not going to go to World Series, Eric, and go, well, the final score is 5-0 the other team, but the Astros' expected batting average was higher than the other team, so we're going to give them 6 runs because they were expected to score 6 runs, right? I don't get that. I just don't get that at all. And that's why I don't understand some of the advanced matrix. Some
Well,
people call me
over time, those balls will fall in.
okay,
So
that's
yeah,
great. But if they don't actually fall in, I don't care what your expected numbers are. I mean, Ryan Stanek even said it. He's a professional baseball player. Okay.
right.
I just I need production on the field. I don't need to know what you're expected to do. Like, like as one of my students, well, I'm expecting to get an A. Well, then make an A on the test. Like if you make a C, I'm not gonna be like, you know what, you're smart enough to make an A, so we're gonna give you an A. That's I don't understand it. And quite frankly, it's just like whatever. Jordan Alvarez, I am a little concerned, but I'm not overly concerned about him.
Yeah, I think he's gonna figure it out. He's just been dominating all season, and I think he's gonna figure it out. I think the Astros kind of go where he goes, and the reason why the offense has been struggling recently. I mean, I don't want to put it all on his shoulders, but he is the Astros' main cog in the Astros offense, and so if he's struggling, then what else can you do there? So it's just kind of, I'm not putting it all on him, but it just sucks. So if you're looking at what to get somebody special, whether it's just for, I don't know, what's anything special coming up, why don't you look at Blue Nile? Blue Nile is a great place to get something jewelry. So, Brett, let's talk about that.
BlueNile.com is the original online jeweler to high income adults and primarily 25 and up. Men looking to get engaged for fine jewelry. If you want to know where this website is, go to BlueNile.com today, become their customer. If you say, wait, I'm not a male in this age range or I don't make that much money, it's fine. They've got you covered at any price point. They specialize in wedding jewelry and in fine jewelry. They've helped millions of couples find the perfect engagement ring. What they do is they help you to find the size, the diamond shape, clarity, and setting style. Blue Nile's bench jewelers will handcraft her perfect engagement ring. Each ring is one of a kind. Looking for fine jewelry but having trouble choosing? BlueNile.com jewelry experts are on hand 24/7, available via phone or chat to help you find your memorable gift at every budget. Make your moment sparkle with jewelry from BlueNile.com and go on now to BlueNile.com anniversary sale. Save up to 40% on classic fine jewelry pieces and 25% on engagement ring settings. Plus, every order is insured, ships free, and arrives in discreet packaging that won't give away what's inside. Shop stress free and find your forever piece. Go to BlueNile.com today.
I would say the Blue Nile play of the game, it has to be Jeremy Pena. I mean, if you're looking at defense, that little play he played, I made, I think it was in the 8th inning, but it was just that shows why he's a great shortstop. He just made a great play going to his right or left and threw a bouncer to Gurriel. And it just shows how good a defensive player is. Yes, his bat is kind of slumping right now, but overall, I think that he's going to be fine. But I think we need to see more consistency from the lineup overall. Altuve had 2 hits today. Bregman had 2 hits today. Tucker had that 1 hit. Aledmys Diaz had that 1 big hit. Myers has the topic of discussion. I know he got on base and scored a run, but I know you kind of teased it earlier, but Joe Espada kind of confirmed what a lot of people have been talking about is that Dusty Baker has been making the lineups. And this is something that we've discussed on the podcast before. And somebody asked him, why did McCormick not start against Perez? And Espada deferred to his boss. I did not ask Dusty that. He's writing the lineups. We do have a ton of confidence in Jake, so that's why he's penciled him in there for sure. And so Aledmys Diaz, I think, is going to get a majority of the starts in left field. He may not be the best defensive player out there, but he's not the worst. His bat is definitely carrying him out there. But good news on Dusty Baker is that he's back in Houston. Jim Crane sent a private jet out there to go get him, to bring him back to Houston. He's still not back to managing games in person, but he is still having his impact here. And first round pick, Drew Gilbert, was already promoted. He was moved up to Class A Fayetteville, and he's already in 5 for 11 in 4 games for the Astros complex league. So he's already moving on up. So he's going to maybe a fast riser.
Yeah, this kid is going to be a force. I'm assuming we could see him in Sugarland next year. I think he's going to move that quick. Now, I don't know that he touches Minute Maid Park in 2023. It depends on their fielding situation. That would be a huge, like a really fast rise. I mean, if you go back and look at Jose Altuve, really fast riser. Every time he got into a league, he excelled. Boom, he got moved up. He doesn't have go back and look at how many at-bats Jose Altuve had before he hit the major leagues. He hit the major leagues pretty young, and he wasn't in the major leagues very long. Right. So, in the minor leagues very long. But Gilbert could be a late season call-up in 23. I think he could be your starting center fielder in 24. So, at the end of the day, you'd love to see that. Justin, Drierdon just got called up from AA to AAA. He's been hitting the cover off the ball. The problem is the Astros have a lot of older center fielders, 25, 26, and there's going to be a logjam, and these guys are going to be fighting for position. I tell you what's going to be really fun is watching spring training, Eric, to see who comes out of minor league camp, where they're placed, and who's actually competing for that major league roster. Because Jake Myers and Chas McCormick both have a lot of people that are going to be on their heels next year.
All right, and some other news that Brett and I talked about before the game and also during Spaces is that Trey Mancini was doing some pregame work in left field with Gary Pettis today. And so does that mean that he'll be starting in left field tomorrow and starting in left field every day? No, I think you'll still see a lot of Aledmys Diaz and maybe some Chas McCormick out there. But what you may see is a situation where they do try to get him in the lineup when it's a ground ball pitcher like a Framber Valdez, something that they do with Alvarez as well. So Gary Pettis is known for his work with the outfielders. And so if anybody can kind of work with him, it's Pettis. And so I think that the Astros knew what they were getting in Mancini. He's not the best outfielder. Has he played outfield before? Sure. But
very few games.
Yeah, they're not very confident in his ability. And until they give him a chance to really play consistently out there, I don't know if we're going to see him play that much. So a lot of people are saying, well, if he's playing once a week or twice a week, he's definitely not going to re-sign with the Astros next year. Well, that's not true, because if he likes it in Houston, and there could be opening at first base next year, because there's no for sure situation where Yuli's coming back. You could have him at first base.
I just really don't see Yuli in the cards. I mean, his decline, Eric, has been quite sharp and quite drastic. Right. That doesn't take away. See, and this is where this conversation gets tough, because you have your Yuli sympathizers, and look, I love Yuli. I don't know that I haven't met a person who says I don't like Yuli, right? But the bottom line is his decline has been so steep. You just going, okay, like after this year, is he just going to call it quits? Is he going to wrap it up? He may not. He may be rejuvenated. He may come back and surprise everybody. But Mancini is the guy that you can sign on an affordable contract. You can try to pick up that option, maybe give him a signing bonus, sign him to a 4 or 5 year extension. He could be someone that doesn't cost you a ton of money. Then you don't have to worry about shuffling between Taylor Jones and whoever else that you haven't had enough confidence to bring up and play first base anyways. I really hope Mancini stays. I think Vasquez goes back to Boston. I think if Will Smith works out, they bring him to spring training and he tries to make this team. So you may have 2 of these 3 trade pieces that are here next year in 2023.
Alrighty, and we have some news about the Pearland Little League. What do you
That's
got for
right.
us, Brett?
So the Pearland Little League won today, and I hope I'm not misquoting the score. I believe they won 9-4. No, they went up 3-0 in the first inning. They played an amazing game. Actually, one of the pitchers, Eric, hit the other team in the face, and the pitcher from Pearland was so distraught. The kid that walked to first base actually went over and consoled the Pearland pitcher. The kid felt terrible. Throwing and hitting someone in the face is brutal. And so at the end of the day, the Little League World Series has now a contender in Pearland Little League. They're representing East Texas out of the Southwest region. And I remember when I first started in that school district, I had 2 kids that were on the last Pearland Little League World Series team. But this team, Eric, they rolled their first game 19-0, and then they won. So it's going
You
to be
said
really
9 to
cool
4, right?
I believe 9-4.
Yeah, it was 9 to 4.
Okay, yeah. So they won. There are 3 kids on that team that actually go to the school where I teach, so that's really cool. And it'll be neat to meet some of those kids when they come back. Hopefully, they bring some pins. The last ones I actually taught in class, they brought me a couple Little League pins. I've got to find those, by the way. I have no idea where I put those things. It's probably in my file somewhere. But go Pearland. They deserve all the luck. They got some good kids, some good coaches, and you definitely want to root for them because they're from the Houston area.
They beat Tulsa, Oklahoma today.
Okay,
So
Tulsa. I couldn't remember who they played, but yeah, man, they were Tulsa, Oklahoma was overmatched. I mean, this Pearland Little League team is really, really good.
yeah. So congrats to Pearland. That's right down the street from us, basically, sort of. And I know you teach in that area. So congrats to them. And it's always great to have somebody from the local area kind of represent us in Williamsport. So going from that to what the Astros said. The Astros, let me see if I can find the quote I had, but the Astros had a lot of, here it is. Alex Bregman said, congrats, best of luck. Lance McCullers said, it's a big, big achievement. Dubon says, it's special. Chaz McCormick says, it's an amazing accomplishment. And Seth Martinez said, congratulations, Pearland Little League. So also the group, the Sunshine Kids, were at Minute Park, courtesy of Lance McCullers and Kyle Tucker. Based on their foundations. And also, it was so funny that they had those 2 names on there. And Biggio was in the picture as well. And Mark Berman mentioned Biggio. I'm like, Biggio's kind of a big deal. But
yeah, Biggio literally has the sunshine on his retired number at Minute Maid.
Yes. So, but that's just great to see everything there. So, it's just good to see that Biggio's still carrying that Sunshine Kids torch that he carried when he played baseball. And speaking of McCullers, he had a front row seat next to Joe Espada today. And apparently, we missed this in our last couple shows, but his velocity was down a little bit. In his last start, he was averaging about 91 on his 2-seamer and averaged about 92.8 in his second appearance and 92.9 during the first. So his velocity was down a little bit, but Josh Miller was not too concerned. He said he was on normal rest and part of the rehab progression. We're not concerned. When he pitches next, I do expect to see more velocity from him, and I think he looks good overall. So I know Lance McCullers says that he has not met with the team about the next steps. They have not announced when his next start is. And so who knows when the next start is? And I know that Chandler Rome kind of speculated that if McCullers does return to the Astros major league rotation, it would be on Friday or Saturday against the A's at Minute Park, but that doesn't mean that he's come back. And he's only on the 18th day of the maximum 30-day rehab assignment. So he still has time. I see them giving him maybe one more start, but at the same
Yeah, I
time,
don't.
they could let him learn on the job, or not learn, but just recover on the job.
There's no need to do that. Why would you waste those days and put him on the major league roster and potentially hurt his arm? That would be a complete waste. I think they need to wait all 30 days, if not close to that. He says he's feeling fine and his velo's down. I don't see how that just doesn't make sense to me. That means his strength is not built up. Now, I'm not a pitching coach. I'm not Josh Miller, but take your time with this guy. You don't need him. Your team is fine. You're 8 million games over 500. You're well in the division lead. No one's going to threaten that. You're going to get the 1 or 2 seed. There's no logical reason to rush Lance McCullers just because he wants to. And I mean, by his own words, he's learned from his injuries. And if he's learned from his injuries, he's got to trust the process. Slow it down, Lance. We need you 100% healthy. So come playoff time, you can crush the souls of whatever team come against you, because that's what you have. But if you hurt yourself again, it's all for nothing. And that's what I don't want. Those are my final thoughts.
And Brett, you have been so proud of me today at my school today. They brought in the axe throwing, and I was throwing a hatchet, and I was out there like Royals wall, just like throwing bullseyes out there. I was just so proud of myself carrying my team. So
Nice.
uh,
Good job.
it was fun out
Excellent.
there. So I know that tomorrow's game is definitely going to be interesting with Justin Verlander, and I forgot it's Glenn Otto, I believe, on the mound.
Yeah, Otto.
So this is definitely going to be a game that both sides are. I think that we said that it's definitely going to favor the Astros, but after what I predicted yesterday, I don't know if I'm going to predict this one. But
Yeah, I don't. I mean, look. Baseball's too much baseball. It's really hard to predict. Here's what we say: the Astros are supposed to win these next two. Okay, the Astros were supposed to have troubles against Perez. Nobody has ever hit a grand slam off of him. Nobody could have predicted that because it's never happened to Martin Perez until today. And so, at the end of the day, this is just about going out and playing your brand of baseball. Your team is better.
right.
Your pitching is better. Your hitting is better. You should win. Bottom line. And Eric, I will say this: when it comes to the Thursday game, I just want to tell everybody it's on YouTube. It's a YouTube televised game. We are going to be going live right after the YouTube game, and Locked On is going to be promoting it. So we would need as many fans as we can get here. I love that we have 150 plus at times watching us right now, but Thursday we need a ton of people. Let's push this viewership to 1,000. Tell everybody you know. Turn on all your devices. Let's get 1,000 sets of eyes on Locked On Astros Thursday night.
So after the game on Thursday, we will be going live for the Locked On Astros podcast on YouTube, and hopefully the Astros get this stupid little thing, because I'm sure it's a little bit bigger in person. I know it is.
It's a lot bigger. It's like a full-size boot. It's not, yeah. They're like, here's your boot. Das Boot.
Alrighty, so that's all we got for this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast. A lot of fans are predicting a big game for Justin Verlander. Let's hope it's just a W for the Houston Astros, because at this point, that the Astros just need to keep the wins coming. My name is Eric Huysman. Find me on Twitter at Eric Talkstros. Find birthday boy Brett Chancey. You can find him at H-Town Wheelhouse, and we are the Locked On Astros podcast. And go Stros.